Thank you so much for such a wonderful introduction, Violetta. And I'm really honored to be here with you today and to present. And before I start, I just wanted to express my immense gratitude to Micha for this wonderful action of planting a tree just live in during our conference. And I also wanted to mention my thanks towards Ximena, because she told her wonderful story about engaging children. And I remembered my own story. So in 2020, I was appointed officially as the first ever advisor to the mayor of the city in Russia for the holistic well-being, for the development of the holistic well-being and happiness. So I work in the integral development approach of development of individual, organizational, and social well-being. So being this advisor on happiness, we co-created, and it started at the same time, in the same story, that we invited children to bring more aliveness to the small forest, a little grove, not far from the city. This is a small mining city, not very prosperous, I would say, very poor, with a very obsolete infrastructural system. And the children, with their teacher of biology, decided to clean this small forest nearby, and it gave their start to a wonderful project. Then local authorities joined, and even regional administration joined, and it ended up, telling a long story short, it ended up with sending some additional money from the budget, from the regional budget, in order to create a small park in this forest. So starting from small initiative of children from school, it ended up with the creation of the touristic route with the banners about the nature which is presented in this small grove. And it's a wonderful showcase on how a very small endeavor, a very small initiative of small people, of small humans, can end up with the big project which is supported with the influential adults. I also wanted to tell you maybe more about the culture, because working in well-being, we are first of all connect our work with the cultural level, because we have lots of wonderful initiatives in the world. So now I'm based in the UK, and I also see how it works in Europe, and I have connections in Americas, both North Americas and South America, and Eastern countries. And I also see that it is really important to work with mindset alongside with the working on the infrastructural level, because until we understand the precious, their necessity, the value of these profound aspects of our life itself, none of the initiatives will work properly, because we saw lots of examples when sort of big people from local administrations and officials decide to create some to develop some ecological aspects and create some very important things in terms of waste collection, providing the environmental development. But until people understand why is it so important, it all just vanishes. And it is really important for us to understand that really these three profound primal prerequisites of lives are so it seems that it's so simple, but at the same time, it's the sacredness of the whole being on our planet. And I also, when I was preparing to this conversation, I remembered me being in the hospital with the COVID, and more than 50% of my lungs were damaged, and I was in the hospital, and I understand that I faced the death very closer than ever before. I saw deaths. An elderly woman died at the same room where I was in the hospital. My uncle died. My close friend also didn't survive. And in this case, I understand that so the most luxurious and precious thing at this situation was just to breathe with the full chest and to have taste and to smell the simple things. And this horrible disease, it showed people, and we discussed it a lot with people who survived, and the whole humanity, that these simple things of breathing, of smelling, of tasting, we don't value it until we lose it. And in this case, we can understand that clean water, sufficient oxygen to breathe, and good soil which provides us with nutrition, with fresh vegetables and fruits, that's all we need. That's all that needs our body. That is life, not our yachts or our bank accounts or our recognition in social media. And definitely COVID showed that we all are equal on the pandemic, and I can show lots of examples that neither bank accounts or widespread recognition helped people to defeat the disease. And have we learned these lessons? Hardly. And I think that it is important. So we just decided to forget it as a nightmare and just move forward. And that's really great that we can look into the future without sort of fixing on this horrible, I would say, page in the history of our modern history. But at the same time, I think it's really important for us to highlight the preciousness and the importance of such simple things, and staying connected, staying focused, staying grounded, staying mindful and aware of what really matters in our lives. And there is a very nice joke that a person consists of water from 60 to 65%. So without a purpose, we all are just the vertical puddles. So it's rather funny. And or another joke is that we have the same amount of water as cucumbers. So we all just the anxious cucumbers. So I think it's really important for us to remember that water is not just the opportunity for us not to be thirsty. Our all well-being is dependent on the water we drink, and on the rivers nearby, on the cleanliness of the water in these rivers, on the local fruits and vegetables we eat. We have to take care of the soil which brings us this very simple but so important food for us. And again, we breathe the same air with our neighbors, with our state enemies, with all people on earth. And it's really important to understand that all these geopolitical issues, all these conflicts, all these strange and absolutely weird situations which we experience here in my native country, in global East, and in many other conflict points on the earth, it's so weird that we don't really value life. We don't really value such simple things. And again, we thank you, Michas, that you showed us our connections to trees, because I fully agree that we all are connected. We are breathing the oxygen which these trees and the local parks and forests provide for ourselves. And it is not only about well-being in the contemporary understanding of this. in the conventional understanding. It's also about sacredness, about interconnectedness of all of us. And again, in terms of conventional well-being, we are talking a lot when we are working with people, with local authorities, with the citizens, inviting them, encouraging them to take the agency for their lives and for the development of their cities. We are talking about the health, the immune system. Our mood and performance also are highly dependent on the environment, on the water, on the quality of air we breathe, and the food we can eat, just locally created food. And there are lots of very robust scientific research which prove that it is very important. It is of highly importance for our physical, mental, and emotional health. But I would also like to mention about the spiritual aspect of being, because breathing, we started with the meditation today. Breathing is the gateway to mindfulness and connection to higher self. And without having pure air, we will not be able to take advantage of all the benefits of our modern civilization. Without water, we can't sustain our lives. And water, it's as Violetta mentioned in her presentation and introduction of myself, it collects information. It brings the specific spiritual aspect and our interconnection to life and to earth. And again, working with cities, I also understood, and I highly sensed it myself, that it is so important to be connected to the land, not only like fertile soil which brings you just nutrition. It's about the energy of life. It's about carrying the memory of the ancestors. It's about being connected to hundreds of generations who were living and who were taking care of this land before us. And again, I was born in the south of Russia, not far from the border with the Ukraine, and it's a painful wound for me, because we do love this land, and we shared it for centuries with Ukrainians, and my husband is half Ukrainian, so it's another story to discuss and to share. But at the same time, I understand that having moved to the United Kingdom now, I truly felt that it's sort of the bridge. I stayed connected to my native land, and I will not be able to reject it in any case. And it's a huge challenge, but it's a great opportunity for me to be this bridge, between these different lands, with different cultures, and staying connected to the history, to the culture, and to the sacredness of both these lands, my native land and land where I live now. So I would suggest, and I think, and I strongly believe, and I think that it is really important to ensure our transition to the new ecological eco-civilization. It is really important to bring this understanding and knowledge and this culture, both through the spiritual development and through the ecological development, to all schools, to the universities, to speak more about this, to speak about sacredness, and to speak about this sense of connectedness and valuing things which really matter. Because none sort of economical gross products and none our advantages of digital world, they are not really matter without this profound, this absolutely simple and so vital things for us: soil, air, and water. And after all, I would just wanted to come from there to the quantum physics and to the macrocosm and the microcosm. So you can see the solar system and the structure of the carbon atom. And after all, we all are just the force of attraction, the electromagnetic field, which interconnects everything. Who knows, maybe that's God himself or herself, who is just keeping us connected to each other. So thank you for this wonderful opportunity to be connected, not only just macrocosm and microcosm, but also as a part of this wonderful eco-civilization community. So thank you again for this opportunity to present.